Thank you very much, Senator, and I certainly want to thank all of you for all of your volunteer work. When we celebrated New Year's Day 2012, we knew that Wisconsin was going to be at the center of the trifecta. There are 3 elections to make the trifecta. The first one was re-electing Scott Walker, and we did that with a larger margin. The next 2 are coming up on November 6th. One is to carry Wisconsin for Mitt Romney. Barack Obama cannot be re-elected if he loses Wisconsin. It's up to us. Are we up to the task? And the third leg of the trifecta is electing a Republican United States Senator who will vote with Ron Johnson rather than canceling out his vote. And are we going to be up to the task on that? One of the things that I've always believed that voters should judge public officials by is how well they live up to their promises. And I remember during the last campaign, candidate Obama said he was going to cut the deficit in half. And what did he do? He tripled it, and then he never brought it down. That is mortgaging the future of our children and grandchildren and their children and grandchildren. Shame on you, President Obama, for running up the debt. Shame on you for inflating the currency. Shame on you for mortgaging us to the Bank of China. We will shame you out of office for what you've done. And then I remember candidate Obama running around the country criticizing George W. Bush for a high unemployment. And right after he took his hand off the Bible, he had a press conference. And he said, pass my $800 billion stimulus bill so that unemployment will not reach 8%. Well, Mr. President, you don't know anything about free market economics. Within a few months after Congress passed the $800 billion stimulus bill, unemployment did reach 8%. It got to 10%, and it hasn't gotten below 8% since then. Don't you care about all of the middle-income Americans who have lost jobs? Don't you care about people who are hardworking and who built America and now are struggling to make ends meet? Don't you realize that the government can't solve every problem and that a healthy economy is based upon a healthy private sector? And don't you realize that in order to get out of this massive debt that you've run up, we have to grow the economy, and all your policies are doing it the opposite way. Now, Alberta has talked about the wow counties, and I do all the time in Washington, D.C. The wow counties have got the best turnout the vote operation for Republicans anywhere in the nation. And that is a reputation that each and every one of you has built up with the time that you spent upstairs and downstairs on the phone, with the time that you spent making voter contacts going door to door. We've got to do it one more time this year after having it done for Scott Walker on June 5th. And that's how we win the other 2 legs of the trifecta. We have secured our state from the tax and spend and special interest crowd by getting Scott Walker the ability to serve out the term that he was elected to in November of 2010. Now we have to save the country from Barack Obama. Mitt Romney has got the programs and the platforms and the background to be able to do it. He will be able to know how to grow the economy, to put America back to work. The question that people have to be asked is, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? There are very few people in this country that can answer that question yes. And that's why we need a change in the White House, and it's up to us to do it. Wisconsin is changing, and the last time we elected a Republican United States Senator before 2 years ago was in 1986. And for 24 years, we lost one Senate election after another. And why did Ron Johnson win? He was a fresh face, but he had fresh programs. Stop the spending, stop the debt. He's in the minority now. When he's in the majority, we will be able to accomplish a lot more of that. And it isn't for the sake of electing Republicans. It is for the future of our children and our grandchildren, that we can leave those children and grandchildren the hope of living in a better America than we have lived in. And now I'm happy to introduce the soon-to-be senior senator from Wisconsin, Ron Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. The reason we all come to these events is to thank you for what you've done. And as Jim's talking about the wow counties here, and we do, we take a look at Don and Kathy and Candy and Alberta have been so key at making those wow counties the wow counties. But I tell you what, I don't think we say enough the influence that Congressman Sensenbrenner has had on this. Jim has been working tirelessly for a couple of years. And so much of what has been accomplished here really is the direct result of all his work, his plans, his goals, really his dreams. So again, Jim, thank you for everything you've done. Now, Jim talked about the trifecta. I always refer to it as a hat trick, and I define it slightly different. The first goal was November 2010 when you folks turned Wisconsin red, and that was crucial. The second goal of the hat trick really was making sure that Scott Walker remained Governor Scott Walker. God bless you for making sure that happened. And now the completion of the hat trick is in November 2012 when we make sure that President Obama is a one-term president and we elect President Mitt Romney. Now, it's always interesting going last because basically the things I would have said have already been said. But it's also an opportunity. I can take it in a slightly different direction. Let me just talk a little bit about the reason I ran. And the reason that is crucial, one of the primary reasons it's crucial that we retire President Obama. And it's called Obamacare. And that hasn't been talked about, so let's talk about that. 2 Thursdays ago, that was a real body blow to freedom, that Supreme Court decision. And now the fact of the matter is, the Supreme Court has turned the Obamacare repeal back to the political process, back in the hands of Congress. And so it's up to us as voters, as citizens, to make sure that we end this monstrosity, this thing we call Obamacare that is going to lower the quality of our health care. It will result in rationing. It will limit innovation. It is going to suppress our freedoms. It's going to destroy our budget. And that's absolutely something we have to do. It is a primary goal. It's one of the mandates of this election to make sure that we can stop the implementation of Obamacare in its tracks. Now, as I travel around Wisconsin, and I turn smiling faces into frowns describing the problem. I'm not going to do that today because this is a day of celebration opening up this Victory Center. I talk about really what the problem is. I'll use numbers. I'll use charts. And the numbers are depressing. But it's actually pretty simple to describe what the problem facing this nation is. It's that far too many Americans have forgotten the foundation premise of this nation. Or what's even more depressing, they were never taught it. And the basic premise is that government, although we need it, is not here to solve our problems. Government, by and large, is something to fear because as government grows, our freedoms recede. And what we are battling is a decades-long strategy of the left to addict as many Americans to government as possible. Obamacare is the crowning jewel of that effort, which is why it must be repealed. It's got to be stopped dead in its tracks. Because in implementing that strategy, and they have been depressingly effective at it, what they have done willingly, voluntarily, is they have been giving up their freedom. And unfortunately, at the ballot box, they have been giving up our freedom for a false sense of economic security. And it simply doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. And that is the very stark choice that faces us this year in this election. Whether we continue down that path that President Obama has put this nation on, or that we take a look at a new direction with a new leader and elect President Mitt Romney to actually put us on the path of an opportunity society based on freedom, with free individuals operating a free enterprise system that actually works to improve the lives of all Americans, and quite honestly, is every person in the world that embraces freedom and a free enterprise system. So again, from my standpoint, the greatest threat to freedom is ignorance. And unfortunately, our school systems are failing us. They do not educate our children about how exceptional this nation is. They don't educate in terms of history and economics, so we have to. And this is where you folks come in. God bless you for coming out here and being involved in making the phone calls and walking and doing the voter contacts. Do more of it. You have to be our force multipliers. I can't tell you, you have far more power than you realize. And you exercise that power by informing your friends, your neighbors, total strangers. That's what we need to do. If we're going to reclaim this nation, the promise that is the genius of our founding fathers, that's up to you. So let me just complete my talk here by saying, God bless your efforts, and may God continue to bless the greatest nation in the history of mankind, America. Thank you all. It is my task. It is my task to, again, make sure that you sign up for phones as well as getting your walk lists. That is so crucial. So I think Jake's in the back there. Go talk to him and get out there and do the hard work, because that's what we need to do. Thank you.